Jessica. All right. Sweet. We're all set. Oops, sorry. All right, we're all set. Let me get my little timer going. And Nadina, you can always do some ninja signs. Does this work? Yay. Okay, so I made up a topic. We were going to maybe talk about Bulgaria-specific things, but I decided I don't want to do that because I'm a little frustrated lately, and it's a very global human thing, and I think it applies to anywhere and everywhere. So let's just start, and I'll tell you why I'm frustrated. Okay, so I think a long time ago we had audacity, and we had a vision. We actually had a lot of dreams. So, like for example, back in 1967, when we had the Ford Mustang, we were dreaming of flying cars. We were. Cartoons and everything were about this. Then in 2015, we have the Ford Mustang, which looks a lot like the 1967 Ford Mustang. And yes, there's a Tesla here and there, but really it still has four wheels, and it's pretty much the same thing. So back then, we were dreaming of vacations of Mars. We had just put a man on the moon. We had a dog in space. We had Sputnik. And we did. We had moon dreams and Mars dreams, and we were going to have colonies there by now. And what have we got? This. I don't know if any of you have been to some of the beaches in Asia or Asia Pacific lately, but we're still vacationing on beaches that are just more and more polluted, in places that are becoming more and more polluted and more the same. We dreamed of limitless energy, perpetual motion machines, clean fuel that would power flying machines. We did, right? We had all these dreams, but it hasn't happened yet, has it? It just hasn't. What have we got? More fossil fuels, Fukushima, more and more radiation, pollution, and disaster. Back then, in the 60s, we dreamed of tricorders, little devices, and they fueled Star Trek and the other things. So they're just going to heal you. We're going to like, it's going to work. It hasn't happened yet. We're not even close. Instead, what have we got? More disease, more malaria. Yes, we found some cures to some things, but as global population has increased, more and more, real terms, people are dying. Hasn't happened yet. We dreamed that there were going to be little pills we could take. And they were going to feed it like, boom, that was our dinner. Pop a pill, it's dinner. We're going to eat. We're going to have food for everyone, for the planet. It hasn't happened yet, has it? In fact, if you look in real terms, we have more starvation now than we've ever had in history. Yes, we can say we have more yield per square meter sometimes, but what is it? It's Monsanto crap with GMO. It's not nutritious. It's causing more long-term problems. And we have more pain, and we have more suffering, and we have more hunger. Back then, we dreamed of 3-day work weeks, that we were going to have more time to sit on the beach. We thought that technology would free us. It hasn't happened yet. In fact, I would say the opposite has happened. We're more stressed, we're more tethered, and those beaches are empty, and the hammocks are unsung. It hasn't happened yet. In fact, I think we had a lot more audacity back then. Call me a dreamer, I don't know. But I think, yes, we've had some things like the internet, which are amazing technology advances, but then we screw them up. Because we have no humanity together with our technology. We have, I believe, epically failed as humans to fulfill all of that audacity, all of those dreams. And I can't see my timer because my phone shut off. So it's totally failed. And here's a cute quote from my friend Bruce. And if you can't read it, it says, 99% of the world is dedicated to glorifying mediocrity. If you're great at something, if you're truly great at something, you will be relentlessly attacked by the mediocre because you make them feel small. We failed because we fail with each other. We failed because we're told that everything is awesome. I don't know if you've seen the Lego movie, but everything is awesome. But everything is not awesome. unfortunately. We failed because we were following the rules like good little sheep made by the elite. I'm going to go into that in more details because I know everybody likes to say, oh yeah, the 1% and the 99%, but I'm going to make it the 0.01%. We failed because we are good little sheeple, being good little consumerists, with our heads in our iPhones, completely oblivious to the real problems of the world. We are, in essence, zombies, and that makes me a little unhappy because I don't think there's a plan B. I think the more and more we continue our failure and this slide into zombieism, the worse it's becoming, and the harder it is going to be for us to dig out. Peter Thiel said, in a world of scarce resources, globalization without new technology is unsustainable. And I get that. Obviously, if everyone wants to spend and have cars in China like they do in the West, there's just not enough. But I would say we're heading for disaster because that's not the whole equation. I would say in a world of scarce resources, globalization without new technology and commensurate growth in humanity is unsustainable. We can all see that technology is out there, and it's promising a lot of benefits, but most of us, or most of the normal planet, the non-elite, don't get those benefits. So let's take a little time out. Why is that? Why are we failing? And some of these things you've probably heard me say before, but I think there's three main reasons. The first is our education, which is abysmal. I've mentioned this before, but it's disgusting, and it starts very early. It starts in our little schools. It goes to gymnasium. There's a nice little quote from a United States teacher, and I know this is sort of like an oxymoron, but she says, when I first began teaching more than 25 years ago, hands-on exploration, investigation, joy, and the love of learning characterized the early childhood classroom experience. She would now describe the current period as a time of testing, of data collection, competition, and punishment. One would be hard put these days to find joy present in classrooms. Yes, we all thought no child left behind sounded nice, but it really meant let's make education so stupid that even the stupidest can pass and the rest of us are punished. And it is spread throughout the world. The opposite, I believe, of education today is not ignorance. And this is a huge fact. It's critical thinking. This is by design. We're following the rules made by the elite. The universities themselves, I don't know if many people know this, were helped design by a guy named Edward Cubberley. The United States government paid him and contracted him to help design their modern university system after World War II. This was his mandate, to create mediocre intellects for a docile citizenry. And we wonder why we're such idiots. And this is what's being propagated out by the United States and all the media and all the education hype as what we should be spending a ridiculous amount of money on. Well, yeah, it's $100,000 a year for Harvard, no problem. $60,000 for the next grade of schools, $50,000, $40,000 for the next one. And if you don't do it, you're a bad parent because you're not giving your kids the opportunity to shine that they're going to need to succeed in the world. What a fucking load of shit. Second reason is business. I won't go on too much about this because I think you all know how I feel about business and the Industrial Revolution. Apology for swearing. Gets me really worked up, the whole education thing. The Industrial Revolution basically came down to this. We're going to do a trade. We want docile workers. We want to replace craft and skill and mastery and all these things to get robots, to get human robots. Predictable, do your thing, do your repetitive tasks, do efficiency things with all this stuff. And we're going to trade that to all of you people for safety. We're going to trade slavery for safety. We're going to give you a steady income and the promise of a job for life and all these things. You give up your mentality, your intellect, your free will, your craft, your skill. You give up everything. You just fall asleep in the chair over there like she's doing. Give it all up because who cares? You're going to get a steady pay. It doesn't matter anymore. And we took the deal. You and I, all of us. Society took the deal because that's what the elite wanted. And by the way, It was those businesses that paid for most of the education system. And third is our human nature, and this is the hardest one and the one that's pissing me off. Because when you combine it with the education and the business, two things that reinforce each other, because we then take the education and we put it in business, we get an exacerbation of that. I think we have a very old brain in a modern world. Despite the fact that we have new technology, I still get afraid of flying. I'm sitting there sometimes in the airplane going, holy shit, my ass is 30,000 feet up in the air in the middle of nothing, and I'm freaking out. Okay, not everybody gets this, but we're all fear of something, and sometimes I am. But we live in a very fast-paced world, and despite the fact that every philosophy, every religion, I don't care which one, has tried to tell us that control is an illusion. There is no control. We must embrace change. We still crave stability. We do. We need to know everything's okay. We need to know that the engineers who made this building did it okay. It's not going to fall on our heads. I don't have to think about that. I don't have to worry about that. I don't want to think about crap. We crave stability. And sometimes that's okay. We don't want to go around going, God, is the structural integrity good or not? Is it going to fall on my head? It was made here. I'm joking, but anyway. And this is despite the fact that, I have no idea, my thing keeps going out. 10 minutes, all right. This is despite the fact that this guy, and a lot of other smarter people than me, Albert Einstein, he said a cool quote, problems cannot be solved by the same level of thinking that created them. We have a lot of problems, guys. We have pretty much failed in a lot of stuff. And yet we're applying that same level of thinking because we're stuck. We haven't changed much. But to create a better world, I'm sorry, we cannot make change and hope and audacity and huge ideas when we are acting like sheep. And we are. And I'm pissed off about it. Here's a stupid little example, but I think it does well. I was told this by this guy named Stefano in Montenegro last year. And it turns out it's a true story. I checked it out on the web. And you know, the web is true. So monkeys, the way they catch monkeys often, they basically make a coconut, they drill a little hole in it, and they put some food inside. A little monkey comes along, and he's like, ooh, coconut, food, yay, right? And what he does, takes his little hand, sticks it in the coconut to get the food, and he grabs the food. But then, because he's got a fist, he can't get his little hand out of the hole. Because, you know, it's like doing this first, then he's doing that. And rather than just drop the food and free himself, what does he do? Gets a hold of the food. He refuses to drop the food. He gets caught. Sadly, we do the same thing. The fear of losing the food is greater pain than actually losing the food. But we do this all the time. We crave the stability, the way we do things, best practice, whatever you want to call it, and the fear of change is worse than the suffering we're already feeling and the unhappiness we're already feeling. Oh God, but it could be worse. Jesus. So similar to Semler, and I think somebody earlier was talking about Ricardo Semler, who I love, I call this insidious crystallization. Meaning slowly our neurons, they're hard-coded for these behaviors, for these learnings, for these activities. Our brain literally does hard-code. I used to do neuroscience when I was in college. And yes, I know I've fallen far from the apple tree. But it actually turns out that when you do a pattern of behavior or you learn things, your proteins, your amino acids, all these things, your peptides, they actually hard code to facilitate the firing of a sequence of neurons. We literally crystallize, if that makes any sense. Which basically means we end up stuck and afraid. And this is where we're at. This is a quote from me that I just decided I'd throw in here, and I'll read it to you. We are slaves to the tyranny of popular opinion that's been created and is literally dominating the planet, be it financial, be it educational, be it societal, or be it business. And I think if anybody doubts that, let's look at the United States elections. And I don't mean that as Hillary is evil and Trump is an idiot. I mean that in the founding fathers of the United States themselves, who wrote the Constitution and who made the United States and who saw the tyranny of Great Britain and made this in response to that, they themselves said a two-party system will become the death of democracy. They themselves realized that this ridiculous absurdity would be the death of democracy. And they said other fun things, like a central bank is worse than a standing army. Or actually, technically, the only thing worse than a standing army is a central bank. And they said things like no foreign entanglements. And what has happened is that nobody remembers, nobody reads, nobody critically thinks. We all get stuck thinking, oh yeah, it's a two-party system. That's what we gotta have. It's one or the other, and let's get distracted by all these stupid issues that don't mean anything. In the meantime, we'll go kill a bunch of brown people. Because, that's all right. Sarcasm. And on a business side, we've been told that profit is life. This is what it is. The point of a business, this is what I learned in MBA school. The point of business is to make a profit for your shareholders. And in fact, Milton Friedman, who all the modern capitalists just adore, he said there's one and only one social responsibility of business, to use its resources and engage in activities designed to increase its profits. This is what we're teaching. Milton Friedman was a student of capitalism and Adam Smith. Okay, I was at this conference where I was like, no, this isn't right. All the boats need to rise. If there's a choice between profit and society and community, we must pick society and community. And I was called a communist. I was quoting Adam Smith, the father of capitalism. Because guess what else he said? The rate of profit is naturally low in rich and high in poor countries, and is always the highest in countries which are going fastest to ruin. And I'm sorry, guys, but the rate of profit right now is the fastest in the West. The country's going to ruin. The guy who wrote the book on capitalism. This isn't socialism. This isn't me being a communist and going, oh God, I love Karl Marx. This is the facts. We have become so corrupted, and we're so stupid because we can't critically think anymore, we have lost the plot on all three levels. Education, society, and business. And we have become good little zombies. And let's put this in a little context really quickly, all right? Our average lifespan in Central and Eastern European, this is from Forbes 2012, is 65 years. As a male, you females get a few more years, and I envy you. Bastards. This is the average. Oh, I'm sorry, the previous from Forbes was the average. I totally blew that. The previous from Forbes was the average retirement age, 65. Yeah, Forbes wouldn't talk about lifespan. This from the WHO, the World Health Organization, bad Steve, is our average lifespan, 72. Oh my God, guys, we get to retire at 65 and die at 72. So we can do all these great things when we got a dodgy back and a bad knee and whatever for 7 fucking years. That's life. And that's what we're told is a good thing. It's a lot of duality, right? Do what you're told now, clock in, follow the rules, go to work, and when you die, you go to heaven. Kind of doesn't sound like a good deal to me, right? I mean, I know that was sarcasm, but no, that's a crap deal, guys. It's a shit deal. There is no work-life balance. That's bullshit. Work is life. This is what it's become. This is what they've made, we've allowed. And the problem with that is we are humans. We are not machines. And there's a pretty significant difference between human and machines. We have emotions. Machines do not. We have inspiration, we have passion that drives us. We have a purpose. Machines don't really. Our purpose actually isn't to mechanically do the same thing over and over. Our purpose is to love, to create change, to do good things, to raise our kids, to develop love. I don't know, to be an architect or whatever our purpose is, but it's not to be a machine. It's just not the same thing, guys. We crave variation. Every single thing in nature craves variation. A tree does about 103 things, from shading the ground, to providing nutrients, to providing soil, to dropping leaves and providing fertilizer. Nothing does one thing. And we're supposed to sit around and just do accounting all day or whatever it is. Life is short and it's sweet, unfortunately for us. It's that 72 years. Maybe if you're a girl, you get 3 or 4. Or if you live in Japan, you might get 10 more, which is great, because we don't eat Monsanto. Unlike a machine, where life is endless. Oil machine, well, whatever, you can get machines that go on for hundreds of years. But we're not. And finally, we care. We care a lot. We want to impact change, and we care about ourselves, our own egos, our family, our love, our legacy. Time passes, and for a machine, they don't care about that, but we do. And as we get older, in the beginning, yeah, we might be selfish. It's all about me, me, me. Then it's about me and my girlfriend. But then as we get older, it's about me and my family and friends, me and my grandparents, me and my community. We want to start giving back as we get older. We realize there is no legacy of one as we get older, and we care. Machines don't. Yet we have a system that treats us as machines, and is doing so more and more with the advances of artificial intelligence and AI, robotics, sorry. All right, so quick step. Once again, we're following rules made by the 1%. And this is annoying me because we're too stupid to realize it and we accept it. We are not doing what's in our best behavior, in our benefit. I think it's pretty clear if you have a brain, we're not. Sorry, guys. As I said, the fear of losing food is worse, and anyone else is so afraid of change, they want to tear you down because they're cowards. So given that, and given that problems can't be solved, we're stuck, aren't we? We're not going to solve the problems the same way, yet if we try to do that, we get torn down. End of the day, I think we are cowards. And one of the main things I want to tell everybody here is we are cowards, and we're sheep, and we cannot critically think, and shame on us. This is our fault. Sitting here having conferences about inspiration and changing work, it's because we have created a monster. And it is on us to change that monster. I don't think I have much time. I was sitting there at the restaurant next door, and okay, I have 8 minutes. I'm just going to blow through these, but I think we've seen these a lot. These are ideas I've done in my workplace to try to create change and break this sort of, I hate the word best practice in general because it means there is a right way of doing something, and humans crave to be told what to do. There is no right way. So these are some things I'm going to blow through and then finish because I only got 8 minutes. Elevate culture to the level of importance of profit. Enough of profit. Even the founders of capitalism said, no, it's society and people over profit. Yes, we need business, we need profit, we need to reinvest, but not at the expense of humanity. So stop it. Grow slower. We don't have to grow so fast, invest a bunch of money, grow, because what happens is what? You hire on just resources based instead of on culture, instead of on skill, instead of on fit, instead of on purpose and purpose. Small units, 125 to 150. You probably heard this with Semco earlier or Ricardo Semler, but it makes sense. As soon as you get 500 people, it's pretty hard to coordinate and hunt a mammoth. We don't know their names. We know about as much people's names as in this room, and after that we get lost. Right? So small units are actually more effective than big ones. Rethink scale and productivity. Small actually is more productive. We've been told in MBA school that the bigger the scale, the better it is. You can get things cheaper and blah, 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 but it turns out usually that's bullshit. The bigger the scale, yes, you can get things cheaper, but the end result is lower quality. Reduce bureaucracy and rethink structure. I think everyone here can agree to that. I'll talk more about middle management later, but bureaucracy is antithetical to innovation, I promise you. Embrace freedom and reflect life at work. Like, why do we expect people to be free in their social lives and come to work and put their freedom hat on the Zakachalka and be like, sure, let me be a slave. It's just stupid. Eradicate fear. This is from Deming. I love Deming. He basically said fear is the opposite of innovation. Fear kills work. And there's a lot of tools we use for fear, from, I'll fire you if you don't show up at 9, or I'll dock your pay, or I won't give you a promotion if you speak out, or if you criticize me, you're not going to get a promotion, blah, blah, blah. Eradicate fear, but that takes courage. For me to be criticized, I got to take it, right? I got to be a man. Harden up. People over process. Teams decide best. I hate corporate top-down process. It's basically saying, yes, whoever the CEO is and the board of directors knows the best. Bullshit. The people closest to the line, closest to the work, closest to the customer know best. Let them develop a process. Okay, if the process is let's beat up our customers, all right, I can see some oversight there. But really, this is also from Deming that I stole it. Eliminate secrets. Come on, guys. In the old days, it's like, ooh, that's power. I know something you don't know. Ooh, secrets. You're not in that pay grade. So you're not in that classification. It's a state secret. Really? Today, I think that instead of power being knowledge, sharing is knowledge. Sharing is power. The more we open source things, the more we have understanding and power. It's just not the same anymore. It shouldn't be the same. I have a tiny dispute between two employees that's saying their idea is best, their idea is best. We open sourced it. We put it on the internet, on these forums to say, hey, here's these two ideas our employees have. Let the whole community vote what's better. Let's find out. Institute transparency kind of goes with secrets and eliminating them. Sorry. I think the more transparent we are, the better, because you have a free flow of information. And let's face it, every other employee is just pissed off that you're not being transparent anyway. And that's not motivating. Release control and delegate to the lowest level. I mean, come on, it's literally the people closest to the line, to the process, to the customer, to whatever, that are probably best suited to know what to do. And CEO doesn't know crap usually. Flatten the hierarchy, which means increase empowerment, less is more. I usually say, hey, if you feel comfortable solving the problem, do it. Only ask me if you need some guidance or help. Otherwise, what the hell? I don't want to be known about it. Ask why. This is a big one from Ricardo Semler. Kids do this all the time. He talks about this, like, why is the sky blue? Why, well, it's blue, but why is it blue and not green? Well, because of the way light reflects this and that. And why is it green and not reflecting red and whatever? And you go, I don't know. But ask why, because otherwise you don't get to the root of the problems. And also, if we don't do that, I mean, notice you do this all the time as kids, and you just stop. Because it seems challenging, and you're a maverick, and you won't get promoted, and no one's going to like you. Oh. Trust implicitly, I hate this. You know, I go to stores, and I see cameras over the cash register. Well, if you're going to treat your people like thieves, you're an asshole. It's the responsibility, and I know everyone here is going to say, oh, but they will steal from you. Well, I'll steal from you too if you treat me like a thief. It's the responsibility of a leader to step first, to be brave, to take risks, to show the way forward, to say, I will implicitly trust you. How do you expect to garner trust when you treat people like thieves or that they're going to cheat you? And I know it's easy to say, oh, but they will, because look in the past what happened. Cowards. Rethink pay, the gap between the top and the bottom. In our place, there's probably, at most, a 5x difference between the highest and lowest paid. Guys, I know you say, oh, but the CEO at the top, he does all this stuff, and he should get that 50 million payout bonus, and it just makes sense for the Goldman Sachs douchebag to get that much money. It doesn't. And everyone else is actually more demotivated because they know they're sitting in there as investment bankers working from 7 to 12 and not seeing their family and missing their kids and working their butts off, while that asswipe gets a 50 million bonus. Everyone gets more demotivated. Eradicate politics. Politics is bullshit and antithetical to growth. Oh, I'm not going to say the truth because I want to hide it and kiss this person's ass because they're a... Really? We all hate brown nosers. We hate them. No management without leadership. I hate middle management. We talked about that. I got to wrap up quickly. No worries, we're almost done. Oh no! I'll finish in a second. I get it. Oh, you want middle managers to enforce process and policy and make sure people are doing good little slave things. Okay, have the managers, but make them leaders as well. I think management without leadership is uninspiring, unmotivating, and annoying. And everyone else does too, and it's not even a dirty little secret anymore. We all think that. All right. Oh, it broke. God damn it. Oh no, talk direct. I hate bullshit. Yes, it means I swear sometimes, and I'm sorry if I offend you, but just harden the fuck up. This is what life is anymore. It's what kids do. You should hear my kids. They blow. I learned swear words from them. Yes, sometimes it's not polite. Yes, it takes a thick skin to hear direct talk, to be told your idea is stupid, and oh, but we're brainstorming, so everybody has a good idea, and everyone gets a gold star. No. You're wasting a lot of time in this idiot. Leaders jump first. We talk direct. Just inspire people through being honest, for God's sakes. And frankly, lastly, is embrace humanity. And I know sometimes you're saying, oh, but you're saying talk direct and don't worry about offending somebody. I'm not saying be an asshole on purpose, but I am saying embrace humanity, because ultimately, you're not doing anybody any favors by lying and being political and hiding and creating bureaucracy and hiding the truth and hiding knowledge and hiding power and not letting them think and not letting them be empowered. I think the whole point is that business is personal. We've been told a lie, that it's just business, it's not personal. Bullshit, this is our life. It's the 65 of 72 years. Business is intimately personal. That's 30 minutes. I'm almost done. It's intimately personal. It's our life, and you have been lied to. It's a flat, absolute, insane lie. Business is personal. And I'm pissed off, obviously, as you can see. And I know we don't have much time, but 76 years ago, and I ran across this recently when preparing. She thinks I don't prepare. And I want to show you this, because it's just insane. Let's see if it's going to go. Do we get audio? It's the Great Dictator. It's only 3 minutes, I promise, and we're done. Almost.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
In the 76 years since he made that, right before the dawn of Hitler, I think it's more prescient now than it's ever been. We have failed. We should be uniting. We are the soldiers. We are the brutes. We are the dictators. We look at Foxconn and they outsource 50,000 people for robots and we go, oh yeah, but that should free up humanity. It doesn't. That just goes to the profit of the owners. We look at ING that just killed 5,500 people. Axed. Sorry, slang. Where's that going to go? For the better of us? For the profit of the owners. These are the dictators. Our politicians are the dictators. Our CEOs of the large corporations of Monsanto and all these other bullshit companies are the dictators who are, frankly, killing us. And we soldiers let it happen. And in 76 years, the optimism he had has failed. And that's kind of why I'm pissed off. I think it takes courage, like Guy Fawkes had, to fight against Parliament. I think it takes that kind of courage. Society, we must be based on progress, intelligence, and the development of consciousness. Humanity must go together with technology. We have to, and we fail that because we cannot progress a civilization, our civilization, by giving a platform to cowards, silencing the intelligent and those fighting for disruption, and letting the idiots rule. So my message to you guys today is that all of this stuff we're talking about is universal. It doesn't matter if it's Bulgaria or one company or another company, but it's never, ever going to happen if we stay cowards, if we don't critically think, if we don't have the courage to leap first, to make the decisions, let people screw us sometimes, and just move on with it. Then we're all, as a society, as a business, as a community, as colleagues, doomed. Thank you very much.